Thank you for joining me today. My name is Bob Rye, and I will be your host for today's webinar on envelopes. Let's get started. Today I'd like to cover the basics of envelopes. What makes up an envelope, the type of envelopes available, the physical characteristics of an envelope, standard versus custom envelopes, what makes them custom. There will also be some discussion why envelopes are used and the importance of envelopes, and then the trends that are seen according to some surveys. But first, let's take care of some housekeeping items. Your time is important, so this will be kept under 30 minutes. During this presentation, we will be muting your phones to keep background noise from being overheard by others in attendance. If you have any questions during today's presentation, you can submit those from your screen by clicking on that chat and type in your questions. I will try to incorporate those questions during this webinar. We will allow audio questions at the end of the program, so if we don't answer your question during the webinar, we can address those at the end. If you have not used GoToMeeting before, you can minimize the tool palette on the right of your screen by clicking the double arrows on the top left of the GoToMeeting area. This will give you a complete screen view of the presentation. You can maximize the tool palette to submit questions by re-clicking on the same tab. After this program, you will receive a survey asking how we can improve our webinars. So let's get started. Before I go too far, I need to define what I mean by an envelope in our discussion today. By definition, an envelope is a packaging product, usually made of flat material such as paper or cardboard, and designed to contain a flat object, which in a postal service context is usually a letter, card, or bill. Keep in mind there are many items out there that are labeled as an envelope but are not what we are discussing today. As an example, have you ever received a carton from UPS and there was a packing list inside a plastic pouch attached to a carton? That is called an envelope, but it's a specialty envelope and not one that we will discuss today. Window envelopes are most often used for bills, although they are also popular for marketing purposes. They are cost efficient since the name and address shows through the window, eliminating the need to address the envelope. Regular envelopes, those with no windows, are used for types of correspondence, personal or business. In marketing, any envelope, especially if you are designing an envelope for a customer, you will need to decide what you're trying to accomplish with the envelope. Do you want the receiver to toss the envelope or to open the envelope? Customized envelopes can pique interest in uniquely complementary materials. From a completely new design to a variation of an existing style, there's practically no limit to the type of envelope that can be produced. Many of the items we discuss do overlap and affect other areas. You need to take the whole picture, size, color paper, how it opens, what's printed on it, and other items, and put it together to see if the final result of your design will accomplish what you want to accomplish. Custom envelopes usually cost more than standard envelopes. Almost all envelopes stem from two basic construction designs, open-end or open-side. Dozens of variations can be created from these styles to meet a customer's particular requirements. Note that these two terms are typically used in describing catalog or booklet envelopes only. The open side envelope has opening along its longer dimension and features either diagonal or double side seam. The open side envelopes are widely used for business correspondence, greeting cards, and enclosures for gifts and related items. The open-end envelope has opening along its shorter dimension and usually features a center seam on its back. The face of an envelope. This side is critical in the sense that if the mailing address isn't readable or the postage isn't showing, that envelope would most likely not get delivered or probably be returned to the sender. The postal system is looking towards automation for sorting envelopes. If the address and postage do not meet those requirements, delays and or additional costs may be incurred by the sender. The backside of an envelope tells how it was constructed or manufactured. There are three common methods that I will discuss today: diagonal seam, side seam, and center seam. Depending on how the envelope is used, that may dictate what seam to use. A very common construction is a diagonal seam, commonly used in correspondence, commercials, and pointed flap announcements. This seam style is a workhorse and generally well suited for applications involving mechanical insertion equipment, laser printing, and posthole meters. Side seams allow for a large, uninterrupted printing area on both front and back of the envelope, mostly found on booklets, square flap, and side seam commercial envelopes. Commercial sizes are suitable for some laser and inserting applications. Others should be tested first. The center seam is found on catalog-styled envelopes. Large square or rectangular side flaps meet and overlap in the center of the envelope. This seam adds strength for carrying heavy objects to its design. Envelopes with a center seam generally are not suitable for automatic insertion equipment or postage meter applications. Testing is suggested before using in laser printers. Next is security tint. Depending on the actual use of an envelope, the user may require a security tint. A security tint is defined as patterns or solids printed on the inside of the envelope to increase opacity. A security tint is desired when private or personal information should be protected from others who may see the envelope. By having a security tint, it helps to prevent others seeing what they shouldn't see. There are many different security designs available for custom envelopes, or you could even design one yourself. There would be a cost savings by going to a standard tint rather than a custom tint. Opacity affects how or if a security tint is really needed. Opacity, sometimes referred to as show-through, is a term that refers to property of paper which prevents dark print areas from showing through from one side of the paper to the other. Often it is sufficient by using a heavier paper or colored paper. It depends on what you are trying to accomplish with the envelope, and your cost will change depending upon what the customer wants to accomplish. When you hear the term regular versus window envelope, they are referring to the envelope itself, not the glue or adhesive that seals the envelope. A regular envelope is an envelope without a window. A window envelope has an opening cut into the envelope which allows the inside material to be viewed. There are also different standard flap styles. The flap is the part of the envelope folded over and sealed to secure the contents. Shown are 4 common types of flap: pointed, commercial, wallet, square. We will review each of these types in more detail. Note that the flap styles are influenced by the seams used. Pointed flap. It's elegant, traditional, and more formal. Used primarily for baronial, greeting cards, and social stationery envelopes. Not recommended for laser or inserting equipment applications. A square flap provides a large area for design on the flap and has contemporary appearance. The lack of a shoulder in this flap can create problems during automatic insertion. Standard number 10 sizes are suitable for laser printing applications, while other sizes may present difficulties. A wallet flap is similar to a square flap but with round corners. This is a standard flap on most booklet, catalog, and specialty commercial envelopes. Flap style enables closure of bulk contents and is functional for automatic inserting, mailing, and laser equipment processing. This is a standard flap on commercial style envelopes for business and commercial use. These flaps are designed to reduce make-ready for corner card printing, improve sealing when bulky inserts are used, and enhance inserting and laser printing performance. Next is the type of adhesives used in sealing the envelope itself. The common types of adhesives are seal gum, latex, and pressure sensitive. Seal gum refers to a remoistenable adhesive applied to the top flap of the envelope, often referred to as regular glue. The seal gum requires moisture to activate the adhesive. Many people lick these type of glue to seal. It's the most common. Latex glue requires 2 layers of latex adhesive, which is common to have 1 layer on the extended flap and the other on the body. When the flap is folded over, the adhesives stick together. Often latex seal has extended flaps. Extended flaps are when the top flap is extended up. in the open position because if it was down, the envelope would seal. Printco does have what we call Sure Seal latex with a flip and seal. The second latex adhesive strip is folded under so as not to stick to the top strip yet. So when you flip up the bottom seal flap and let the top seal flap get in contact with the bottom seal, it creates a seal. Thus the name flip and seal. This type of latex seal is very, very popular with Printco's customers. You don't need to lick the envelope to seal. On the pressure-sensitive glue, when the release paper is removed, the adhesive is activated. By using this adhesive, you will still have a strip of paper to toss away. Now let's look at 4 different types of envelopes. Commercial, which is often called official, booklet, catalog, announcement. We will review each type. Commercial and official envelopes applies to those envelopes most generally used in business and range in sizes from 6 1/4 to 14. They are normally produced from a variety of paper grades ranging from white wool and brown craft commodity to many proprietary grades of premium writing and text paper. These styles are suitable for a host of business and personal correspondence purposes. Booklet envelopes open on the side, typically on the longer side of the envelope. These envelopes are traditionally produced from white wool and brown craft paper. These envelopes can be supplied with a variety of window sizes. Note the standard sizes go from 6 to 10. Booklet envelopes are not used when inserting inserts by a machine. Catalog envelopes open on the end, typically shorter of the 2 sides. Catalog envelopes are typically not used when inserting by a machine. Also note that the sizes shown do not correspond. If you're talking about a catalog envelope, it's different from a commercial envelope, which is different from booklet envelopes. The sizes are all different. So even though it may say number 10, the actual size is different. So depending upon what type of envelope you're talking about, it depends upon what the size of the envelope is. Announcement envelopes are used for announcements, small booklets, brochures, or promotional pieces. This style envelope is enhanced by the use of text paper. That text paper is typically matching the insert piece with the envelope on the outside. Standard commodity commercial size envelopes are available with or without what is termed the standard window. Standard window dimensions and window size positions are listed. Standard sizes are more economical and readily available for shipment. Note that the up and down dimension of the shorter dimension is listed first for dimension and size. Staying with the standard size for any envelope will keep your cost down. There are standard size envelopes for all types of envelopes. Going with the custom size may be what your customer wants, and they are available. The drawbacks are the increased cost for the envelopes and maybe increased cost for the mailing as well. The USPS rules have been changing, and by checking the latest rules may save some cost for the mailing and other surprises as well. Here is a chart of standard commercial envelopes, sizes, and windows. This chart serves several purposes. First, you can tell what the standard size is for a commercial type envelope, but it also tells you what the standard window size and placement of the window is. How do you know if an envelope is a standard or custom envelope? Let's look at how to determine if it's standard or custom. Measure the envelope itself. If it fits one of the standard size charts appropriate to the type of envelope you're measuring, it may be a standard envelope. Remember back a few frames, all the different sizes shown for the different types of envelopes? The size may be standard, but the window size or placement may not be standard, thus making it a custom envelope. If it has a window, you need to measure the window and the placement of the window to see if it matches the standard chart. If any of these sizes or placements does not fit the standard classification, it may be a custom envelope. Keep in mind that a custom envelope for some companies may not be a custom envelope for all companies. Often manufacturers of specialty forms will have envelopes custom made for their particular forms. Thus, those envelopes could be more economically priced by that supplier than if someone else would need to manufacture custom envelopes. Printco is no different than others. We do have some custom envelopes that fit many of our specific forms, whether it be the pegboard accounting forms, laser forms, continuous forms, or other forms. Measuring is easy, but if it's done wrong, the results may be costly. Although envelopes are measures from the shortest dimension first, this practice does not distinguish the height from the width. Therefore, if the envelope is placed before you with its seal flap at the top, the dimension from the bottom fold to the top is the height. The dimension from the left to the right is the width. Simply considering the position of the flap is a first step in describing envelopes. There are 5 steps to determine the positioning and measurement of an envelope window. Number 1, position seal flap at the top. Number 2, measure the window height. Number 3, measure the window width. Number 4, measure the distance from the left edge. Number 5, measure the distance from the bottom edge. The window size is always specified as height by width, regardless of orientation. The envelope is a standard window envelope if the overall size is the standard size, and if there is a window, the window size and placement is the same as the standard for that particular envelope. A window patch is the material used in covering the opening of a window in an envelope. Common options used in the industry is the poly window, which some call the glassine window, depending upon the manufacturer the term they use. This is used 95% of the time in the industry. Cellophane material is also used, but is more expensive than the poly window. Note that windows that do not use any covering whatsoever, if those envelopes are used for mailing purposes, there are strict regulations from the post office. Often additional charges will more than make up for additional costs of mailing without a window patch. I suggest you check with the USPS for the latest regulations before committing to mailing so there are no surprises later on. Specialty paper envelopes. As I mentioned earlier, there are many different colors of envelopes available as standard. In other words, you may not need to pay custom prices for color envelopes over envelopes with a special finish, like a laid or linen finish. There are many options available to you. Do keep in mind that even though those envelopes are standard in the industry, the specialty paper used can dramatically increase the cost of the envelopes. It is known that colored envelopes do draw attention to themselves, so maybe besides having a different finish than the standard smooth finish, have a color other than white. Think of the past slides that I've shown you. Did the color envelopes stick out, or did the white envelopes stick out? Think of the mail you get at home. You get a pile in the mailbox. What sticks out the most? Do you think the mailers of that envelope did that on purpose? The odd color or the odd size? If it caught your attention, then that envelope did its job. By the way, any color of paper you may see out there, no matter what color, envelopes can be made from that paper. You may need to rethink once you hear the price, but they would be available. An option that envelope manufacturers often use for custom colors is something called tinting a white stock to come up with a custom color of an envelope. This is not always economical. The quality of the color tint can be an issue. In other words, going with a tint coating of paper versus going with color stock may not save any money. Tinting is white paper that is coated with a solution making it look colored. If you don't know what this looks like, the next time you go shopping for cards, many times the envelopes that go with the cards are tinted a color. One way to find that out is by looking at the envelope. If it is tinted, the inside will be white. Also, if you look closely, you may see white between the color coating on the outside. Depending upon what you're trying to accomplish, the cost may not be that much different. Here are the common weights of stock typically used in different types of standard envelopes. It is not out of the ordinary that 24 pound is used more than 20 pound. Or if you are looking for a custom envelope, 24 pound may be more economical than 20 pound. The reason being is that the envelope manufacturer can run the equipment faster using 24 pound with less problems than 20 pound, thus giving better prices. But the use of the envelope may dictate what weight to use. Inserting a return envelope inside another envelope is not offered by all suppliers. It is convenient for the billing clerk to save time. By having a return envelope inserted, customers will typically pay that bill first versus some bill with no return envelope. Printco does offer a unique envelope as a return. Instead of offering a standard 6 1/4 envelope, which is 3.5 by 6 as a return, we offer a 3 5/8 by 6 1/8 as a return envelope. This little difference in the size translates into a time saving for the clerk receiving a personal sized check that is not folded versus one being folded. A folded check is just more difficult and time consuming to handle than a flat check. By the way, Printco also offers stamp affixing to envelopes so the end users can save time by not needing to apply postage. Let's discuss the basic care and storage of envelopes. Envelopes should be stored and stacked properly to keep them in peak condition. In cartons or boxes, envelopes should always be standing on edge. Stay away from leaving envelopes lying flat or storing them in partially empty boxes. The envelopes can become distorted and their flaps can stick together. Keep boxes and cartons for envelopes sealed in a dry, well-ventilated area. To properly seal an envelope, make sure the contents are not too bulky. Moisten the entire adhesive surface and hold firmly until sealed. If you machine seal envelopes, make sure your moisture applicator is cleaned at least once a month, depending upon usage. After every 25 envelopes, press your pile to ensure proper sealing. Why are envelopes important? They are a communication device used to inform the recipient about something. It could be a bill, it could be a check. It could be something to inform the recipient of a new product or service. It could be for many different things, but they all inform the recipient of something. Remember, if it's in a promotional piece, you can only make a first impression once, so you need to make it count. According to a survey, 3 out of 4 people prefer the mail to receive a bill. They want that hard copy for the record. Believe it or not, 41% of people say they value mail and pay attention to what they receive. If they don't pay attention, they won't even open the envelope to see what's in it for them. Envelopes can either promote your idea or company or get lost in the shuffle. Envelopes are a trusted method of communicating to others. 86% of Americans feel that envelopes are safe, secure, and private. 84% of consumers feel envelopes leave a memorable impression. Now, isn't that the type of impression you want to leave with the person? Did you know that 75% of Americans are 3 times more likely to pay attention to direct mail sent than to unsolicited email, internet banner or pop-up ads, telephone calls, text messages, or at-home visits combined? Yes, online communication can be speedier and more efficient, but envelopes are often seen as more personal, less risky, and vulnerable than the internet. My source for this information came from Because It's Personal, a study of consumer use and preference for envelopes by the Envelope Manufacturers Association Foundation.